Alright, good morning y'all. Matt here at the Spice of Life Grafted Branch Homestead. Today we are going to be building our incubator. So I had ordered one in the mail, and I'll put a little clip up here. It seems alright. I've done a whole lot more research on it, and from what I understand, the still air ones versus forced air, and then just a lot of the stuff you buy that comes from overseas and stuff isn't all that great. So I got a little one. It can do a few eggs. I think I'd said 30 in the last video, but it's more like 16. So it's not going to be enough for what I need. When I looked, good ones are going to cost, you know, well up over $100, sometimes a couple $100, so that's not really feasible. I found some videos from Coturnix Corners on how to make an incubator, as well. We're going to be building our own. Now, one of the biggest problems I had with this incubator I bought is it's made in China, and that's just something I'm trying to get away with that I'm not really cool with right now. So let's go ahead and make a, well, I don't know how much different it is now, but let's go ahead and make a made in America one. Okay, so these are some of the tools we'll be using. Got my screwdriver and my drill there. We got some screws. The ones I'm going to be using, they're wood screws, just any type I think should work with this. The 1 5/8. I guess you could take them out. I'm going to leave them in just for some extra support and to hold it while it's gluing. We got the silicone seal again to go around the edges of the lights and the little window. And then the glue for the boards as well. So I'll get my caulking gun to go grab that in a moment. I'm going to need my X-Acto knife, as that's what I'll be using to cut it. And then my straight edge over there, and my foam board here, of course. And so this is the plans I had put together from Terry over at Coturnix Corners over there for his quail incubator. And so that's pretty much what I went by. If you follow these measurements, I talk about them. It's basically just like his. I think his was for 240 eggs. I'm only going to make mine with one turner for 120 eggs, so I did make it a little bit smaller. I'm hoping that'll work out well. But anyways, we're going to get these pieces cut out and start gluing them together so it can dry. So the first piece that I need here, and I'll need 4 of these, and that is 18 inch by 18 inch. These are going to make the top, the bottom, and the 2 sides. So that's what we'll be cutting out now. Okay, down. Alright, so I got my 18 inch by 18 inch square here, and so we'll go ahead and cut that out, 4 pieces of those. This larger piece, it's perforated already, or cut already at 16 inch, 8 inch, 8 inch, and 16 inch on it. They were all that way. I don't know if that's just how they come or not. So I did end up buying some of these 2 foot by 2 foot squares that I've cut down to give me 2 of these. I bought 3 of them to give me the door as well. And I don't think it's going to be a problem because it's not cut all the way through on some of them. Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and glue these on. They're going to be just inside of the edge there, and that's going to keep it at an 18 inch wide, and with the addition of the top and the bottom, that's going to make it about 20 inch. We're going to go ahead and glue those down on the inside, just like that. There we go. So we got our let me zoom out a little bit here. So we got our basic box there. It's 18-inch wide, and then with the addition of the top and the bottom, that makes it 19 3/4 tall. The designs for the original one that Terry did, I believe, was 26 inches tall all in all. He had two spots for egg turners or trays. I'm just gonna have the one. So I'm gonna let this dry and then we'll get back to doing some of the other pieces. All right, while that's drying, we went ahead and got 4 of these. We built the little box. The next piece I'm gonna do is the back, and we only need 1 of these. These look like squares because I did it in Excel. Pretend they're circles. So this is going to be the cold air intake at the bottom of the back plate that will draw the air in from the bottom where the cold air normally falls to, and the forced air chamber, like this is going to be, that we're building on the back, will sit here, and so we'll pull the air in and force it up through these fans here and then out into the box. These will be little circles cut where the fans will sit. So this piece I'm going to cut is going to be an 18-inch by 19 3/4 tall, and so we're going to get that cut out, and then the inner pieces as well. Alright, so we got our back piece that's 18-inch by 19 3/4 tall. I'm gonna go just set this up against the back of it real quick just to make sure before we get. Alright, not too bad, so that fits up there nicely. I might have cut it at 20-inch. I don't know, this foam board might be a little bit bigger than what his was. But anyways, so we got the back piece cut out. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come 3 inches up from the bottom on it, and center it, and then cut out this little rectangle. This is going to be 2 inches wide and 6 inches long. Alright, so these holes on the top don't have to be perfect either. They're what the fan will fit up against, so you do roughly want it the size of what the fan blade will be on there. Still making sure you leave room for the screws to go in. I'm going to err on the side of making the hole a little bit too small rather than too big. That way I don't have problems with the screws going in. So I grabbed this cup here. It should work well. And really, you could use the incubator for anything, for chicken eggs. I probably will at some point. If you had reptiles or something like that, you could use it for that as well. Alright, so we got our piece here. I went ahead and took just a little sanding brick and cleaned up my cuts a little bit. Even though you won't really see those, it doesn't matter. So this is the back, this is the bottom. I'll go even with the bottom of the thing, and then the top. So the next thing I gotta do is we're gonna cut out the pieces for the forced air chamber. So the back of it, we need to cut one out that's 18" by 9". We need 2 of the side rails or beams. Those are 18" by 1 3/4". I need 1 piece for the bottom of the enclosure at 7" by 1 3/4". 1 piece for the top, it's a little bit bigger, it sticks out. That is at 9" by 2.75, 2 3/4 inch. And so I'm going to get these 5 pieces cut out, and then we'll get back to you. Alright, so I cut out hopefully cut out the pieces for the forced air box. That's these ones here. Something I do want to note that it just may be my insulation size, and you may want to measure exactly what yours is. Mine is right at 1 inch. So I'm going to change all these 0.75s up to 1 inch. So that'd be 20 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, and 3 inches. That works best. So I'm going to go ahead and update this paper as well. And I might include that there in the description if someone wanted it. Anyways, that's what I'm doing. And so for the forced air box, this is the backing plate. This won't get glued on, this will just get screwed on. Terry over at Coturnix Corners suggested that, so that way if you have to access the fan. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I've cut out my 2 side rails at 2 inches by 18 inches. We got the bottom piece cut out at 2 inches by 7 inches, and the top by 9 inches by 3 inches. And so what we'll do is we will put these rails even with the bottom, right there. They won't. The circles might come up a little bit above. That's all right. That's where the top piece will come in. The top piece is the 3 inches by 9 inch piece, and so that will go right there. And then our bottom 7 inch by 2 inch will go right in between the 2 side rails. Okay, I'm cutting this with an X-Acto, so it's not exactly perfect, but that is just fine. And so I will want to center this a little bit better. I will do that. We will glue the pieces down. So I might put a screw there, one here, one here. And we'll glue this piece to the back. Glued together and screwed. I'm going to let this dry. You can see the upper lip, there's the edge there, that's where the backing will fit right in here, and screw on. And then once I get the fans in the mail later today, those will be attached to the back right here, and then I will glue. Alright, so my fans came in, and what I got was these F8 Arctic fans. Now, something I don't think I saw in some of the other videos I watched was how to wire these up, so I'm going to go through that, but we will get that going. And then these fans are going to suck air in through this way and then push it out through the back, and so that's what we want. We're going to suck the air in from the cold air intake. It will come up and then out over the light bulbs. So we're going to put these on here. Okay, so I took the fans. Those bolts I had were not long enough, and I'm not going back to the store to get this done. So I went ahead and I just put some of these. I had a bunch of pocket screws, so I threw a couple of those in there. Put some bolts that fit all right on the back. I put some super glue around them just to hold them in, and then a little bit of super glue around the edges of the fans to hold them on the board. That's hopefully to cut down on any vibration or anything that might make noise when they're spinning. I want them to still be removable fairly if I need to put a new one in here or work on them, but I do not want I don't want to glue them down where I'm going to destroy the board with some stronger glue. I'm going to go ahead and get the insulation glue and glue the frame that goes on here down. Again, so we got the frame here. So we'll pull the wires up so they can go through. I'll just have those come out the side when I screw this together. So we want to this as close to the bottom as we can, and we don't have to be perfect, but we're going to get it fairly centered. Pretty close to level at the bottom, and covering up all the fans up top. This on and get that drying. It is probably gonna, it looks like the rain is coming. It feels like it's coming for tonight, so we're gonna finish this up quick. I had forgotten to check for eggs before it rains here. I wanted to make sure I do that every day. So we got 4 eggs today, not too bad. Right, woo, yes, it's gonna rain any minute. It has been unusually storming here. We've been getting it every day. We don't really get that usually. Anyways, cool, so I got this piece on. We glued it. I did go ahead and put some screws again just to hold it in place. Now, I cut all these pieces out with the X-Acto, so as I said throughout this whole thing, they are not perfect. They are not 100% straight lines. You can see there are gaps and things like that in it. There's glue, of course, down there. I'm not too much worried about that. I have some silicone seal I'm going to use for the window. I'm going to go ahead, when I'm at that stage or all done, just go ahead and put a strip of silicone all along the insides of all of the crucial areas, and then inside the incubator box as well, just to make sure it's sealed up as much as possible. Awesome. So we got this. I will screw on that back plate, and then this will be ready to go ahead and glue to the back of the incubator box. But the rain is coming, so I gotta get this in the shed. Okay. Well, good morning, y'all. I know this is all in the same video, so it doesn't seem to change much to you, but it does to me. Beautiful day the Lord has made, and beautiful day in New Mexico. Look at that. The balloons go right over my house. How cool. Wave at the top shelf where the lights will go, and so we're gonna build 2 parts, one 16-inch by 6-inch and one 16-inch by 8.5 inch. And this piece, this will be the slanted piece, and I'll show you how that goes together. This first one we're gonna cut 16-inch by 6-inch. Kind of slightly perforated through on a couple sides to make it easy to break. I don't think that's going to be a problem at all. Anyway. Got our 8.5 by 16 inch piece. So this piece here, you need to cut a couple circles in. This is going to allow the fans to blow the air past the light bulbs and then out into the incubator. So it doesn't really matter too much on the size of those holes, I don't believe. I'm going to go ahead and grab something kind of like I did with the cups to trace that out and cut those 2 holes in there. Alright, so I got the 2 holes drawn on there. I'm going to go ahead and cut these out and shape that up a little bit. We're also going to go ahead and cut the board here and here at about 45-degree angles. That way that can fit slanted in the incubator box. Alright, so we got one cut out, and I'll go ahead and cut the second one out, and then we'll get on. Alright, so I got both the holes cut out on the board. I'm going to cut a rough 45-degree angle. I'm just using my knife, so as long as Alright, there, so we got a rough cut 45-degree angle. I think that's pretty good actually, and I've sanded it to smooth it out. So I'm going to do the same on the other side. I might grab the box out of the pretty good 45-degree angles on there. Alright, so we got our box here. It's pretty dry, good to go. And so the back panel I had not glued on, I just screwed it on. That way I can put in this shelf, this light bulb. There we go. And this will fit in the box, flush up against the back of the box, 7 inches down. That's where the light bulb will be popping out there. Our box, our piece that we have our 45-degree angle. So this is going to be glued. One side up against the bottom of that shelf, and the top up against the box. So this will be glued in place. Alright, so we got this it's drying, should be good though. What we're going to do now is go ahead and cut the holes for our light receptacles. I got these at Home Depot. Doesn't say exactly what they are, they're just these little pigtail light sockets. I think it was like $3.97. So I picked up 2 of these. So what I did was I went ahead and this bottom piece here is 6 inches, and so I'm just going to come in on point and center from that, slightly over that. So I'm going to do 3.5 inches up from the back, and so I'll mark that, and then find our 9-inch center line, and then 4 inches from that. And what we're going to do is drill these holes 4 inches on center right there. So let me go ahead and measure all that up. So I'm going to go ahead and cut some holes out here. I have the drill bit, but I don't believe I have the part that connects to the drill anymore. So I'm going to use this because it is the perfect size really. It's 1 3/4, just to get the size of the hole. And so I'll press that on there slightly and then end up cutting the holes out the same way I did everything else with the X-Acto knife. Alright, so I got some of this silicone sealant, which I will use for the light here. I'm going to put a little bead of it inside the incubator itself, and then it'll be used around the window that goes in. Okay, so I came along inside and I put a bead of silicone just up along all the edges. In here there's a little gap, but I had put that glue on the other side, so it's not a gap. Anyways, doesn't really much matter, but I put silicone along the seams. I did that because I cut everything with an X-Acto blade, and so, you know, the cuts aren't exact. And so right up in there is where the bulbs will screw in, and then right down below the fan. And so I'm going to cut out the board that we need here, that the rail will sit on, that will keep the eggs up above the cold air intake and allow me to put the water pan under it as well for the humidity. We're going to cut the bottom rail that will hold the side rails that will hold the eggs there. And so that we're going to do by 18 inches by 5 inches, and we'll need 2 of those. 5 inches will keep it all the way up above that cold air intake. Another one of these, so we'll have 2. These 2. And we're going here, like that. The door I need is 18 by 20 inch. I'm going to go ahead and cut a window out into it. Doesn't seem like it's 5 inches up from the bottom. That's the plexiglass I got. It's an 8 inch by 10 inch. So I'm going to put that on the 5 inch line. I'm going to come in a 1/4 inch, cut that all the way through, and then cut just this lip out. And I'm going to want to add some of these wood, see it's at 1/4 inch purring strips. I will need to cut them down. Got the fairing strips on. I'm going to let this dry and we'll come back. Alright, so we got the incubator. It's almost all the way done. We just put in our fan, our top area, the side rail. I've got the fairing strip on the side here, as well as the side of the door. And I've gone ahead and got a clear plastic and put that in our insert. Let's see, some of the other things I've done off camera, not a whole lot. So I know in Terry's video he has said, you know, if you want to tighten up the wires, tidy them up, you can put them in a little box or something. He said he didn't care how it looked. You know, I really don't care how it looks either. I have decided to go ahead and put a box on here. I will pull the wires in and put them in there. One of the more main reasons I have this on here though is I tend to set things on stuff or bump it on the roof of the shed, and I don't want these lights and cords getting knocked around too much and out. So I just took some silicone seal, put this little box on here, and I'm hoping that will really just protect the lights and the cords and things on top from getting messed up. Okay, so we got that done. Okay, so I got some of these. I had it from another project, just some simple utility hinges. So that's what I'm going to use here. On the other side, I don't have it right now, but I will be putting another fairing strip on either side, just the same as here. And then I'm going to put 2 little locks on the top and the bottom. And then while I have the drill out, actually, one of the things he had mentioned in his videos was a couple air intake holes. I believe he puts 3 on canvas and then ends up closing one. I'm going to go ahead and just put 3 of these small holes right in the side, and then I can close those up in tape as I need, just since I have the drill out already. 1, 2, I'll just do 2. I got these 2 holes. The best thing about this incubator is it's 100% made in America. as long as these materials I bought from Home Depot are made in America. Which nowadays I do sincerely doubt, but craftsmanship in America. There we go. Open it up just like that. Open it up. So the next step is we're going to put some of the electronics on this. Alright, so the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to put some light bulbs in this just so I can see the size. I got the incandescent bulbs. I believe that's what you want. Most everything today is LED and that doesn't put off heat, so I don't think that's what you want at all. I'm going to try these out. I went ahead and got 60 watt. Now I did shrink this by 6 inches and it's only a 1-level incubator versus the one off the model I was using. So I do know that's why I want to get it up and running a week or two in advance to the eggs coming. So that way I can adjust the wattage of the bulbs, 1, 2 bulbs. I might put a reptile heat thing in there, just depending on how it operates. So right now we're just going to put these in. Again, everything I'm buying here, some of the electronics I got off Amazon, and I'll put links to those in the description. But really all the building materials, everything else I picked up at Home Depot. You can probably get it at Lowe's or Space or somewhere as well. Besides the egg turner and the electronics that go on it, the build itself is, I think, cost me about 40, 45 bucks maybe. So not too bad. Alright, it looks like these bulbs will fit in here beautifully. I did pull the sockets a little bit forward from the original design that was in one of Terry's updates he had mentioned. And so that way you can screw the bulbs in and out without them interfering with the fans or being too close in there. So that worked well. The bulbs in there. Now reduce the heat. The fans will blow over. Okay, so the next electronic we're going to install that I'm going to work on now is getting these fans hooked up. And so what I did was I picked up this simple 12 volt to 120 volt adapter off Amazon. I think this thing cost, I want to say it was like $7. I'm not sure. I will put a link for it in the description there. But that way I can plug it in, and then I can just screw my 12 volt cords from the fans right into this. Alright, so I got my 2 fan cords pulled up top here. I'm going to make sure the fans are going to be blowing in the right direction. From the diagrams I looked at and then the little print on the fan itself, that looks right. The cords I just wanted to pull out this way. This is where the back one will just be screwed on. So we pull them out, up and around. And we're going to put them into this little junction box. So on my cords I had to look this up for these Arctic fans. And what it looks like is there's 3 wires. You have 2 solid blacks, and then you have a black that has this white intermittent stripe, I guess, or white bits going down it. The fans here, and what everyone says is not to use this white striped one, that one is the one that does some sensors and things like that. The middle one should be your hot wire, your positive, and then the outside non-striped one should be the negative. So from the comments, that's what it says. I'm going to cut these wires, wire them in, and then I have a plug out here. I'm going to find the positive side, and that should be the middle wire, hopefully. Positive, and then the outside non-striped one should be the negative. Put that in there. Just leave that for a moment. I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. No fires. Oh, it looks so much faster. That's cool. Alright, so anyways, it's working. It looks like it's working extremely slow. The camera frame rate must be matching up somehow because it's spinning really quick. Make sure you match them up, negative to negative, positive to positive on both fans. That way we have them wired in. I think that's all. The outside wire, these ones here, is going to be the negative. So that should be good. Put that in here. Hook it up. Plug this in. Alright, so both fans are going much quicker than the camera's picking up. Extremely quiet. Like that is working well. Now in one of Terry's update videos, he was talking about how he had switched to a different fan. I saw that after I bought these. The reasoning was those new ones, I believe, are sealed. They're a lot quieter. He said that sometimes when the babies hatch, they'll have a lot of down or a lot of kind of powder off the feathers, and that can get sucked up in through the intake and clog up the fans, making them noisy over time. I may replace these fans out, I'm not sure, but a really simple, quick solution I'm going to do to it that I thought of while I was putting this together, I'm really hoping would help, is I'm just going to take a little piece of a filter, like an air conditioner filter or something. I may need to cut it unless I can find a small one. And I'm just going to drop that in the back here over the cold air intake when I screw this in. So hopefully that'll catch any of that little powder down or whatever before it comes in and hits the fans. So that's my idea. So this little adapter for the 12 volt that I'm screwing it into now came with this plug. So that'll come with it. Okay, so this is the little temperature control unit I got. It's in Inkbird. I believe it was like 17 or 18 bucks. I'll put a link in the description there as well. What this will do is allow me to set it to what temperature I want it to be at. And then it can do heating and cooling. We don't need to worry about the cooling on this. I got some of this 16 gauge wire for some other projects on the hutch and things, but I'm just going to cut enough of this that it can run from these wires from the lights up and out and into our unit. Strip that down. Okay, cool. Got my little piece of wire here. Doesn't really matter where I run it, so we will just run that in here. This box doesn't need to be waterproof or anything like that. It's just to kind of keep it neat, and again, from smashing stuff down. So red's positive. On these lights, you have white and black. Black is going to be your hot or your positive, and the white is your negative. So we will run the black to the white and the red to the black. Okay, so the pins we're using on this unit, pins 1 and 2 is going to be for the power coming in, the load. 3 and 4 is going to be for the temperature sensor. Pins 5 and 6. So anyway, 5 and 6 there, that's going to be for our heating element, our bulbs. 7 and 8 we are not going to use. So first ones we're going to wire in are 1 and 2. To do that, we are going to just grab an old extension cord. I got this one here, it's going to work just fine. You want to make sure you grab one that has the small prong and the large prong both on it. That way you know which is positive and which is... Yeah, so just looking at it, the wide spade there, that's going to be the neutral. The smaller, that is your load side. Okay, cool. So I got my wires stripped there. That over, that's our neutral. Pin 1 on here is our hot. That's our positive here. That's going to be the hot side on our power cord. So I'll loosen up that screw. And that's going to go into pin 1. Like that. And we'll tighten that down. Okay, so we got pin 2 is going to be our negative, and so that is going to go into pin 2. Into pin 2 is going to be our negative on our lights as well. And so the negative or the neutral is the white from the lights. So I'm going to wire that some of these wire connectors. Sides. I'll take all my wires best I can. Put that on. Alright, so I got that. I have my negative here that is connecting to the negative, the whites on both the lights. That is going to connect to the negative on the power supply side, the wide spade. And then that is going to go into pin 2. Neutral on the power supply, neutral to the lights, and then the neutral out of the box. Put that down to size. And this will go directly into the Inkbird. Pin 2, neutral. Okay, awesome. So we have our our power on the small spade coming in from the power supply cord. We then have our neutral going out into our junction box that is going to both neutrals or whites on the light. And then that comes out to our large spade on the electrical cord. Okay, so once again, as I've said a couple times, if you do not feel comfortable wiring this, please do not. You could fry out your unit, you could burn your house down, you could really hurt yourself. So if you're not comfortable doing that, do not. Pin 1 we have into our load side of our power cord. Pin 2 is our neutral that is coming out to the junction box that is going to the 2 whites, the 2 neutrals on the light, as well as the neutral from our power cord, the large spade. Pin 3 and 4, that's going to be for your temperature sensor. This is the one that came with the unit. It doesn't matter how you wire that one in. There's not a polarity on that, so I'll loosen up these screws and just wire these in. We can do that. So for now, we'll just lay this sensor aside. Alright, there we go. So we got the temperature sensor wired in. Alright, pin number 5, that's going to be a jumper wire from 5 to 1, from the load to 5. So I'm going to run a piece of wire here. I've used a red piece. I'm going to cut that a little bit smaller, and we'll try and run that in from 1 to 5. And that jumper will go over to pin 1. Pin 5 has its jumper over. Right. So the only other one we're using, because 7 and 8 is for cooling, we're not going to use those, is pin 6. Pin 6 is your load wire to the heating element, in this case the lights. And so we're going to, I got a red wire here, we're going to use that. I'm going to go ahead and run this into the box. The 2 load wires on your lights are the black wires. So we'll do the same as we did with the whites. We'll connect both the black wires from the lights up to this red wire and then into pin 6, the load there. And on the operation of this, we will make sure that it is all good to go for when the quail eggs come in, and do that in the next video. But for now, I got to clean up, I got to get to work. So hit the thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment if you like, and in a couple days here we'll put out the next video on the operation of the unit.
might just run that for the cold air intake.